Do you ever feel like the world around you is getting smaller? It's a weird feeling to describe. Hey, by the way, thanks for being here on this smaller, more casual channel, Doc in the Den. And if you came here from my other channel, Dr. Andrew O'Connor, hey, thanks, welcome. So, this is a real phenomenon. It's where you feel like if you ever used to adventure out or go on a hike or a bike ride, and now you just feel like it's just so much smaller now. You almost have an anxiety to not go. Does that make any sense? Or just that you feel like when you were younger, like going to Paris seemed worlds away, and now it just doesn't really seem that far at all. Like the world was such a huge place to explore, and even in America, it's just so big. There's so much to see, and now it just seems so small. I don't know. I had that feeling this morning, like when I used to go on a particular hike or bike ride, and it just felt like, oh, now I just like, oh, should I even go? It's just going to be over with like that. And it's such a quick little thing. Is this a real phenomenon? Turns out, yes. As we get older, this is a real phenomenon, this is a little wild. So apparently, as we age, this is a recognized phenomenon. Um, this is described in psychology and sociology that as we get older and accumulate experience, however, right? Because those of us that have been to more places and met more people, had more situations, it makes the world feel more familiar and less novel. Okay, glad I'm not going like bonkers as I get older. Like, this is a real phenomenon. Um, they say what used to seem vast and unknowable now seems really predictable, and it just shrinks the whole sense of mystery. Your brain also does something called cognitive mapping, where your brain builds a mental map of the world over time. And according to studies on cognitive aging, older adults process new information in the context of existing knowledge, making new experiences feel like just variations of already known patterns, thus shrinking the world. Isn't that interesting that this is a real phenomenon? Have you guys ever experienced that? Like the world feels so small now? The other thing I have too is like time goes by so fast now. Remember when you were a kid in grade school, it just seemed like it was going to be forever until summer vacation. And now I feel like the days fly by like seconds. It's wild. The other thing they say in socio emotional selectivity theory, that's a mouthful, that because our social circles narrow, and older adults prioritize close relationships over just like broad social exploration. So, like, remember when you were younger, you'd go out with your friends, and it was so exciting to go to the new venue, the new restaurant, the new hangout to meet a whole, you know, world full of new people. And as we get older, that's just not the drive anymore. You value those close relationships. And again, that makes your social world feels smaller. And of course, technology, right? Technology plays a whole part in, I guess there was a study in Nature Communications saying that global interconnectedness makes distant places feel a lot closer. And I guess that's why I feel like Paris is so close now. I remember in my 20s when I traveled to Europe, and I just thought it was just the most adventurous thing ever. Now I'm like, oh, you could just fly to Paris, and I mean, it's still a big deal, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like maybe because of the internet and everybody has iPhones or cell phones and the internet and the same social media, it just doesn't seem as unique anymore, right? Um, but it is true with time perspective. Our perception of time shifts as we get older. And so this is sad. With a shorter future horizon, so we focus on the immediate and the familiar. And so the broader world feels less relevant. So that makes sense. I guess that's why it seems like everything's moving so fast. Now, I have to say, it's not universal. Not everybody feels this way. Like time goes fast, the world is so much smaller. Um, it seems that older adults, especially those who actively seek new experiences or live in dynamic environments, still perceive the world as very vast, cultural, personal factors, etc., play a role. And so I have to admit, I love my house. I love staying home now. I guess just years and years and years of working since I was 15. I just love being at home. It is my, I don't know, my sanctuary. So, and I love to get online and look at social media and play chess.com, and I like to read. And so I think my world has shrunk, I guess. But I guess there is an antidote for all this. And by the way, I don't have agoraphobia. So like people that have social anxiety, generalized anxiety, agoraphobia, they don't want to leave the house. It's not that. That's not what I'm saying. I talk to other people about this, my age, my friends and stuff. It's just that we just love being home now. Like when people are like, "Yeah, we're gonna go out to dinner and go out and concert," really, and maybe it's music that I really like, and it's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna meet at 8." Well, I don't want to go. I don't. I just want to stay home, and I don't think that's necessarily healthy because there are recommendations to make the world seem mysterious and wide and vast again. And so, if you're like me, here are some of the suggestions that we should be doing to make our future more exciting. Not that my life is not exciting. I feel like my life is fine, but okay. So as we age, and again, I'm in my 50s, we gravitate toward familiar environments and our home becomes a safe haven, yeah. And venturing out feels riskier and less rewarding, especially because the world seems small and predictable to us folks over 55. And so this can manifest as an anxiety about leaving familiar spaces. Now, I don't believe I have anxiety, but I'm open minded to the fact that I might have these little irrational fears creeping in, and I'm willing to do something about it. Agoraphobia involves fear of situations where escape feels difficult, like being scared of crowded places, which, by the way, I hate crowds. So maybe I do have a little bit of it. I cannot stand crowded, packed in people because, yeah, I don't like that feeling of like suffocation. I like wide open spaces. A 2019 study in Lancet Psychiatry estimated 2% of older adults experience agoraphobia, often triggered by health concerns or past stressful experiences. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't want to be in a crowd because my back sometimes will act up or, whatever, right? You don't want to be stuck in the crowd. So that makes sense. Subclinical anxiety can make leaving home feel overwhelming due to fears of judgment, physical mishaps. Yeah, I'm worried about slipping and breaking another knee or sensory overload. I'm glad it's not just me. Like these are studied phenomena among us older people. And I can say that because people that watch my channel, because I look at my metrics, they're definitely over 45. Most people that watch my channel are over 55. Well, that's my club. That's my team. That's who I grew up with, right? Okay, so as social circles shrink, according to the Journal of Gerontology, I'm not making all this up. 20% of older adults report social isolation, which can spiral into anxiety about re-entering social spaces. Okay, so we've talked about all this. What can we do? What can we do? So we can make little changes. So when they say start with short outings. So when I want to get back to my groove of riding my bike to faraway places, going on hikes, they say you don't have to jump back into that. You can start with just a 5-minute walk. Now, that being said, I asked my husband, "Hey, do you want to go ride bikes?" Because again, I'm Gen X. We grew up on bikes. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go ride bikes?" And he's like, "Okay, let me just get some stuff done. And then we're going to go ride bikes later." Because I just love riding my bike and he's going to ride his bike with me. So we're going to go be kids again in a second. So I don't need that little short 5-minute walk burst. But if I didn't have someone to ride a bike with, I don't know, maybe I would just start with a little walk in the neighborhood, right? And then the next day I'd be like, okay, the world is still the world. Maybe then I'll go on my bike ride. Does that make sense, right? So social connection, another thing you could do, or I could do, is call a friend before going out. And, I could just stay on the phone with my friend in an ear pod or a headphone, even though I like to have like awareness of my surroundings. Or maybe I just call them and say, "Hey, I'm going to go on a quick walk. I'll call you when I get back." That's another thing they recommend. And they also say do little small outings, like going to a new coffee place and just get a cup of coffee, or, check out a new gallery, restaurant, museum, clothing store, whatever. Just try something new. And you know what I love when I have more time in my hands, and that's why I'm so glad summer is coming up here, is I am such, I don't know, maybe I'm turning into my parents, but I love going into a store and talking to the people that work there. Yes, I'm one of those. I'm like, yeah, I really like to have just discussions with people, strangers, people that work there. I'm not annoying. If they don't want to talk, I don't want to keep talking to them. But I love meeting people and talking to new people. I think it's so fun. So they do recommend that, scheduling small outings where you can just experience something new and different or talk to new people. And as far as strategies to counter the feeling that the world is smaller or too small, which again, maybe it's not you watching this, I've just been thinking I have that issue. Um, Small world comes from routine and familiarity. And because I work so much, and again, I'm not complaining, I'm happy to work as much as I am, but I am definitely in a routine every day. That's why I'm looking forward to the summer when I work half as much, because Phoenix clears out. Everybody heads for the hills. They go up north, they go to the coast, they go back home, go back east. And it gets really quiet here in Phoenix. Snowbirds go away. So it's not like it always is. School gets out, kids go on vacation, etc. So, okay, so we want to break the spell of this shrinking world. So they say, even looking online at visuals of vibrant new places or places you've always wanted to travel, watch videos about it, and it'll just give you that little sense of, oh, I do want to have a little adventure again. I think that's kind of a good idea. New ideas expand your mental map of the world. So they say, for example, watching documentaries about distant places, reading global news, not just the news here in America, or in my case, America. And you can do virtual museum tours online. That's pretty cool. And so it's like traveling the world without leaving home, just to get you used to, kind of in a way, mentally venturing out. And another example or advice they give is calling old friends, focusing on rekindling those old friendships that have kind of gotten a little stale. You haven't talked to them in a while. And even meeting new people. So you could join, I don't know, a book club, I don't know, gardening club, a new, not a new church, but like if you haven't gone to church, go to church or join a new church. Or in my case, like I'm thinking about starting a whole new business. I'll be talking about that more this summer, which would put me in front of a lot of new people. And even new friends can open doors that you would dream of, things never known about. Like, say there's a group of 60 somethings or 70 somethings and they get together and they do a museum tour together, and then they go to lunch and they talk about what they have or what they saw and their opinions, and it just could open your mind to new things. Or starting a new hobby, like, okay, if you've never tried watercolor or sculpting or acrylic painting or drawing, or trying an electric bike for the first time, which I love. I love having an electric bike. Trying something new that will challenge you slowly and work up to more challenging things. And so you're literally rewiring your mind to escape the fear of kind of going out and trying new things. Isn't that cool? And I've always been talking about, and again, just getting back to my videos that I talk about the paranormal and stuff, like I've talked about that kind of stuff since I was a kid, but I find myself thinking more and more about that. Does that mean I'm going to try something new and go into a haunted house? Maybe. No. I don't know. My husband and I talked about visiting the Whaley House in San Diego, one of the most haunted houses. They do tours. Yeah, we might do that. I don't know. We might do that this summer. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a video about it, right? Probably on this channel, though, not on my other channel. And it's really important to reach out to your friends or make new friends, because they can really guide you through dark times. I think it's just a really, really good idea. So, I don't know. I was just kind of thinking about that am I the only one that feels the world is small? And sometimes I just don't want to leave the house. So I find I have to force myself to do these things. So I'm forcing myself. We're going to go on a bike. I mean, once I'm out there, I love it. I don't know why I'm trying to talk myself out of it. Like, well, there's laundry to fold, or oh, I got to get ready for Monday. Like, no, you know, just curious. Am I the only one that does that? Apparently not. There's all these studies on as people get older, this is how they feel. So I don't know. Kind of wanted to discuss it with you, see if you guys have that too. Um, yeah. Okay. Leave a comment what you think. Thanks for being here on the more casual channel. Talk to you later. Bye.